Oh no, I'm frozen already? Come on, frozen. Just as Dimitri just said, it's not a live stream if you don't break it. Let's see if I can get this back real quick. It just made the noise like it came back on, but it looks like I am still frozen. Let's flip over. Check about it. Deactivate. Activate. Okay, now we're in business. Whenever this starts, though, it usually doesn't stop. Good thing I was actually hooking up the GoPro tonight, and that's the first thing I messed up. So we'll be able to switch over to that if I have to. So, um, yeah, what's going on, everyone? Pudgy, that's cold-blooded. I will not be stealing that title. Let's see. Yeah, so anyways, what's up, Dimitri? Funny Brad, Pudgy, Jay Dandy, what's up? What's more like instead of bonjour, because in that they use that more in the morning, so that'd be more bonsoir or for the French hello, right? What's up, Rick? William LeBron, how's it going? Muskrat in the house, Large Marge. Oh yeah, I was a minute late because I accidentally tried to get the GoPro thing going. Didn't realize I'd actually changed the scene on OBS, and so I had to start the countdown over. I'm trying to figure out how I could fast forward through the countdown, so I don't know if there's a way to, because it's just a video it's playing, obviously, but that's one issue. When I play like the members video, there's a slider that could speed it up. When I play that one, there's not, so something to think about. But for myself, so what's up, Raymond? Jacob, how's it going? Yeah, good to see everyone here. I'm all not decked out, but I had to get my EF cap on today. I know a lot of you aren't Tour de France watchers or pro cycling watchers, but today's stage was absolutely amazing. And when you have a team that's your favorite that doesn't win very often and they win, it's really exciting, and it was right on the line. So, yeah, celebrating with my EF cap. But hey, what's up, Dylan? Hey, what's up, Andrew? Yeah, we did have a good time in DC. It's too bad you weren't around when we were there. Like you said, would have been nice to meet up. I need to go back though, and I definitely want to. Like said in the first video, our buddy who, when he lived out here, we rode with Gabriel lives there, and I want to spend time like hitting some museums, actually like going to the memorials, like even that footage I showed where we were like on the grounds of the Lincoln Memorial and looking towards the Washington Monument. That's kind of the closest we got to like the actual like tourist type stuff. We went through there and walked by the Korean War monument, but we were riding more around. We took the path that went out towards the old RFK Stadium and stuff like that. So we were actually more seeing the city, which is cool because I think people do one of two. Sometimes people are going to go like Aaron would and check out the food scene and the coffee and the beer, and then other people are going to only ever stay on like the tourist stuff and never realize what the actual city where people live and work looks like. So it was cool to kind of get a little bit of both, but I definitely want to go back and spend real time. I was in DC as a kid, and one, I couldn't entirely appreciate some of the stuff we were seeing, and two, a lot has changed on both sides of the coin I was just talking about since I've been there. So definitely want to get back. So Dimitri, today for the race, I don't want to say I was watching it live, but I get up at like 8:30. Well, I get up at like 8, and I usually come down here, make coffee and breakfast. And my kitchen's down here. That's why I say down here where the studio, or where this live streaming studio is, bike repair place. And then I go back up to the actual studio where I do my work and flip the race on. So I watch usually the last 2.5 hours of a stage, say if it ends around 11:30 or 11. That's what I was saying in the Discord earlier. My upstairs neighbor is working from home this week. He does a week at home and a week at work. And he was home today. And when that last 100 yards, I was like out of my seat, jumping up and down. And I don't know, Jonathan Vaughters, the EF team manager, like put out a tweet that was just a bunch of like keyboard mashing, and that's what I think came out of my mouth as well. I was just like, it was just total nonsense. So, did we see the Old North Church or Alcatraz? Isn't Alcatraz in San Francisco? Yeah, I know it is, but Alcatraz is definitely in D.C. Anacostia River Trail, Andrew, in D.C. Yeah, that's where we went by. And then Gabriel was telling us you can ride that like for a long way up as well. And he was saying it's kind of cool. He was telling us about a tiki bar up there that's actually like they have like a sand floor and everything. And he was like, if we had more time, we would head up that way. So for sure. So Dimitri, I don't have regular TV. The Tour de France is on. NBC owns all the rights in the U.S. for it. So they have their Peacock streaming service, which is $5 a month. I just use a VPN. So like when I watch even all of ASO's races, that's who owns the Tour de France. So like when I watch Paris-Roubaix, I just like turn on my VPN on my Fire TV and watch it on there. And I just set it to England so I could watch GCN Plus's coverage. Unfortunately, I think NBC probably cracked down because they pay so much money for the tour to still have the rights for it that my VPN won't work on my Fire TV. Like it's being detected. I actually did like a chat with ExpressVPN. That's the one I use. They walked me through everything to see if I could get around that and couldn't. On Windows, it still works fine. So like, I like to listen to GCN's after show. So what I'll do is I'll actually, after the race, because I don't need to see that, I'll just flip on GCN on my computer and listen to it. But I spent the $5 so I could have it on my TV. And they have two streams. They have the one with Phil Liggett, who's the famous commentator, and Bob Roll, but there's a ton of commercials. Then they have their world feed, which is uninterrupted, and I think it's basically based out of Australia. So that's what I've been watching. It's a bummer not to watch GCN because that's what I watch all the time, and those are the commentators and stuff I'm used to. But even though I'm editing on two monitors, I really take up that real estate with my work. So it's even the reason I bought a TV a number of years ago when it was on sale on Black Friday was to have bike racing on while I work. And now, during the pandemic and with Terry riding across the country, after the race is over, I put on Terry's Twitch streams while he's riding. So I need like that separate screen for that. At first I was thinking, I'll just put my laptop up and all that, but it's the Tour de France. I want to watch it on a big TV when I turn to see the finishes and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know on like regular TV. NBC used to do like an hour every night. Basically, they would do like the extended highlights, like you said, and they would put that on in prime time. And then I think they moved it off to USA or whatever NBC Sports. I don't know what they're actually showing live on real TV, like cable TV or any digital TV anymore. So I do pay for the Shaved Legs Network. GCN Plus does a lot of cool documentaries too, but yeah. So Dimitri, who Flow Bikes has the rights in Canada, so you would have to subscribe to Flow to see it legally streaming in Canada, and I can't remember how much Flow costs. Yeah. Yeah. So what Dylan you're saying there? I know I'm behind on the comments. I'm just working my way through, and I get that Pudgy was joking also, and I see Rick your comment, and I'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, like NBC, their YouTube channel does do like the extended highlights, and that's kind of what their primetime package used to be. You would watch basically like it's almost like a mini documentary of the day, and they usually I watched the cobbled stage like that because we were still on our trip, and I really wanted to see the stage on the cobbles, like the Paris-Roubaix stage, as everyone called it. So, yeah. It's like since I'm editing in the morning, and if I'm not doing like heavy video editing where it's hard to pay attention to something else, if I'm like, I'll try and schedule my days during the Tour de France so I'm doing like photo editing in the morning if I can be. And that makes it really nice because you kind of could just listen to a stage as it unfolds, and then something exciting happening, the end of the race, someone attacks, you can kind of just turn and watch it. That works really well for me. Yeah, Dimitri too, because I know Flow plays the tour in Canada, but whenever I've subscribed to Flow, it sounds like they're just when I used to, it sounds like they're just playing the NBC World feed. So for $5, and with Peacock, you just cancel it like as soon as the month is over. I cancel it as soon as whatever I got it for is over. Like last winter, I wanted to watch the Olympics, so that for that month, I spent $5 to have Peacock, NBC's streaming service. Um, I'm not sure if that works in Canada or if you have to get it through Flow Bikes. Worth looking into. Oh, by the way, I'll look at other people's photos in a second here too. I did actually get a Fatheads. We're gonna get this to work tonight. Oh yeah, there for a second. This 5D is dying, or the face detect is so good still that it won't go over. But anyways, it's Fatheads IB Yusuf. So I actually was in the mood for something bitter. When we were on our tour, I was seeing how many times I could not drink hazy IPAs just for the heck of it, like getting wheat beers and West Coast IPAs and all that stuff. But that's what I'm drinking in case anyone was curious. Andrew said, I VPN to French TV since it's on public TV there. Yeah. And Andrew, like I said, and we were talking about this in the Discord today, but NBC, if you do have Peacock, does have a ad-free feed if you pay the $5. Flow is $150 a year. I think Flow, since I paid the $150, I still have it going, and I need to make sure I cancel it. I actually like some of the stuff they do, like on Flow's YouTube channel, but I just don't need their streaming service anymore because until the Tour de France, the VPN has always worked for me, and for $5 to get NBC for a month when I need it isn't that big of a deal. So, Outdoor Life Network, Pudgy, I have no idea. Yeah. Hi, what's up, Blackball? I didn't missed your comment. Didn't see you jumped in there. Yeah, I remember like I was saying, NBC used to do it on NBC's network. That's how that was more like the Greg LeMond, Lance Armstrong era, but they actually had it on their main NBC network. I think it was like 8 to 9 o'clock. The Tour de France, like I said, the highlight kind of 60-minute package. But then I think they had moved it to. Didn't they have a dedicated sports network? And maybe they bought OLN Pudgy, and that's what became NBC Sports or something. I'm just totally guessing, no idea. So, but USA Network, I felt like was their backup, like kind of like with the Olympics. Hey, Chris, what's up? Yeah, Andrew H. Exactly. Tour de France in the morning, Terry B. in the afternoon. Yesterday was a rest day at the Tour de France, and I'm like, I almost wanted to message on Terry's Discord, like, start streaming early. There's no Tour de France today. So I get so used. It's great, like Terry's thing, having it on in the background. For those you don't know what I'm talking about, I've talked about it on the stream a few times, but Terry Berenson, the popular cycling YouTuber from New York, is riding across the country, and whenever the weather's good, he is live streaming it with a camera way off the back of his bike. So it's like this, like they call it the Grand Theft Auto view, but it's really fun to watch. And he's like chatting with everybody the entire time, everyone who's in the chat, and that's over on Twitch. So. Pudgy said Sam Pilgrim just beat the snot out of an Amazon bike. It seems like buying cheap stuff off, like, what's the Chinese one? Alibaba, right? No. I don't know, but buying cheap stuff off Amazon or any of these like websites and then trying out the parts is like a big trend on YouTube right now. Francis Cade has been doing a lot of that as well. So. Yeah, Andrew, I missed the Tour of California too. That was fun because then a lot of the American teams got invited. So you know, that was always a great race to watch. Dylan, Americans don't care about bikes. Hard sell. Yeah. Funny Brad. If you don't know, screen name Abracadabra. If you're an adult riding a bike in the Midwest and you're not wearing spandex, people just assume you have multiple DUIs. That's like that's becoming less true, but was like very true, especially when I was in my 20s. Even when I lived in Wallhaven in a part of Akron. If you're not from Akron or Northeast Ohio, that is like very car centric. It's where Swenson started. If you're Northeast Ohio, you'll probably at least know Swenson's. And like I'd be walking down the sidewalk, and like if any friends passed me, and at that point most of my friends still lived in that west side of Akron, in their cars they would like roll down their window. They'd be like, "Do you need a ride?" And it's like, "No, I'm just walking to the store because I want to walk." And it's just like, "Oh, okay." Like, so I think all those people are like, oh, of course now he's some crazy bike guy. I used to see him walking in Wallhaven back in the day like a maniac. So yeah, Pudgy, you're still thinking of OLN Network, just like me and you talk about what is Pandora, like it's still the music streaming station. Oh, see you, Chris. You guys got a break in the rain. Yeah. Rick, it's funny you said to your comment, if riders carried gas cans that exploded on impact, cycling would play well in the States. I don't know why it popped up on my YouTube suggestions last night before I went to bed. I'm like, I don't know. It was like one of those things where I'm like, I want to find one like 5 or 6 minute video before I like crash. And it was the intro to Idiocracy, if you guys ever seen that movie, which seems so relevant, especially when Trump was president. Um, it just like, and I watched that intro and it just totally reminds me of what you said right there, because that's exactly like the thing that would happen in that movie. And I got all the DUIs while riding a bike. I did have one in my 20s, so I was riding my bike to work all the time. I rode the bus in the winter and rode my bike during. I had no idea that winter riding could be a thing when I was younger, right? Um, I'd be curious to even know, like, what I know. I know people still commuted in the winter, obviously. They did in Europe and stuff, but I would never even thought of like there would be no one to even like tell me that studded tires were a thing or anything like that. So, oh, Alibaba is the website I was thinking of. Wish.com. What is that website? I see it advertised all the time with like it pops up in my feeds where it'll be like, "Oh, new Apple iPad for $20," and you're like, I don't even need to click that to know that's bullshit." So Jacob said, "In Maine, even I assume you have DUIs if you're on an e-bike." Rick said he had a kid yell at him, "Keep working and you'll get that car." And he was serious. I have to tell uh, I should tell Large Marge's story. Not to do it for him, but I think I'm going to try and have them on the stream still for the CNO Gap like debrief type thing like we do. Uh, but he was me and Large Marge met up and rode a little bit yesterday. Dylan, we were actually trying to figure out more of the salt mines where we took you when you were in town. So we were trying to. There's this one spot we've never been able to get back to. We were probably telling you about it, and we were just trying to find it, and then also just figure out the cool loop. But he told me when he was on his way, he was in a he was in at a red light and where there were two lanes, and he said the car next to him really calmly, the guy just like looked out the window and he was like, you're just gonna take up the whole road?" And I guess Large responded back like, "Well, half of it." And I'm trying to remember what he said. The guy said like, "That's terrible." Like, and Large was saying it was like one of those things where usually, you get heated real quick and you start yelling at the driver, or in my case, I'd probably kick their door in. But he said the guy was like so calm and almost just like disappointed and sad about it. Like, so weird. Like, so weird. It's fun, Pudgy, what you were saying too about when you're a mechanic in Maine. I've always like wondered like the people who ride bikes because they have to or out of convenience or they don't have a car. Like I've talked about around here with like local like bike advocacy groups, like those are the people that I feel like we need to reach out to a lot too, because they're the ones who are riding without a tail light. A lot of times they're riding down the wrong side of the street, you know. And it's like, how do you get like those people who ride a bike every day but don't consider themselves a cyclist, never will, aren't in cycling culture, to get them to be like safer and like understand the rules? But how would you do that without being like sounding like you're talking down to someone? I was talking to a guy at the Ohio and Erie Canalway about this a while ago who, yeah, it just like, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that question is. But anyways, how do you get the DUI guys to understand like there's a safer and a better way to ride even the bike you have, you know? So, and that shouldn't be even the bike you have sounds negative too, but they're usually those full suspension Kmart bikes we were talking about, right? So, or like you said, the BMX with the 4-foot high seat post. Rick, reading your question about the saddle, if someone didn't already answer it, I have a solution to that. Velo Orange sells those, like, they sell adapters that clip on your saddle rails. I have it on my Barry Hoban, so I could still put my, like, Zeitgeist bags and my all my Swift bags with belay straps on the back. So, oh yeah, Crust has something too. The simplest solution really is though these little clips. I have a Rick, if you check it out on the Instagram Shorts or Instagram YouTube Shorts playlist, I have a little. I did a short video about those things that they give you Brooks style saddle loops on any saddle with rails. So. Rest of Us is what they're called, or you guys are talking about. Oh, and then back to Large Marge's story. That's horrible. Yeah, that's what the guy said to him about taking up the whole lane. Of course, a red light with 2 lanes, so he wasn't even blocking anyone in. So, Rick, I don't think the Velo Orange adapters are $60. I think they're cheaper than that. Large might know. I think he's the one I had order them for me. So obsolescence, what's up, man? He said first step is to get the DUI guys off the Huffies for sure. But and Pudgy said, yeah, often they don't care. They're doing their time until they're done with it for sure. Yeah, for sure. Jacob said, yeah, this guy I met the other day in your hometown rode from central Maine to southern Maine in one day, something around 70 miles on a Mongoose full suspension. Sometimes I watch those guys or girls too, like with the seat like so low, even if it is like a Kmart bike, and you see them just like struggling. And it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you just want to go over and be like, man, like if you raise that saddle, I know you maybe rode a BMX when you were a kid and like that's what you're used to, but like if you're riding 10 miles to and from work each day, like, man, you could be a lot more efficient. But it's like, yeah, same thing. It's like you don't want to talk down to anyone. You don't want to be like, I know Bike Cleveland does go out and hand out free taillights. And I think that's part of, the kind of crowd they're giving them to. Like, hey, put this on the back of your, seat post so a car doesn't kill you. So. Dylan, you said Velo Orange ones are cheap and simple. Wonder what the weight capacity is. The way they're made, I don't know if I would. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to use them for like a full on like my Zeitgeist full with my whole touring setup. But like I had no worries packing my Catalyst with everything I wanted on there. But again, they're decent brackets that are screwed down to the saddle rails. I don't know. I think they would be okay. I mean, oh yeah, Dylan, you do know how like Rick likes to pack. So, oh hey, what's up, Sam Diaz? You said the Velo Orange loops are wonky on some saddles in your experience, huh? Okay. What did I put them on? What kind of saddle is that? Trying to remember what kind of saddle I put them on that. Yeah, I'm sure it just depends. But again, they're not that expensive, and they are adjustable. I actually kind of they're so I was able to tilt mine even kind of like so they're at an angle, so the straps went through even a little better. But I think maybe the saddle was a little on the narrow side. So yeah, how is I? I've got the. Let's see. Let's see if my other camera worked up and then worked out. Then I. Yeah, I guess it did. Oh yeah, the saddle loops on the Brooks are welded right into the structure of the whole thing, so they definitely would have more integrity. But you think of how much you could put on saddle rails too. So I don't know. Excuse me. Hey, what's up, Al? Al asked if you should size up or down when deciding on frames. That is such a question that depends on what you're riding. Racers, like road racers, size down. Just depends. I mean, depends on if you have a straight top tube, slanted top tube. That's too hard of a question to answer without knowing a lot of specifics. But because I ride a number of different size bikes. How Large said the Velo Oranges are 15 bucks. At that price, you know, if it doesn't work out perfect, you're not way out. I don't like buying something you can't use, but you could probably give them away or resell them. Pudgy says, I feel like a lot of people have low saddles because they want to stay seated while stopping. Huh. Something I had never thought about. Jacob, here I am in my Lycra. Dylan said the Velo Orange screws just thread into a tap piece of metal. Yeah, yeah. But I just feel like once the screws are in there and everything's closed tight, yeah, who knows? I mean, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to test it on a 5-day tour and find out halfway through they don't work. But it'd be worth asking. I bet if you reached out to Velo Orange themselves and asked them what they're rating it to, you know. Obsolescence said the low saddles in Akron is a style thing, like so they can do hella huffy tricks. Pudgy, Tim, you only ride one type of saddle. I what I have I do have a number of B17s and then a French version of a B17, but I do have some bikes that, believe it or not, I think I might. Is that saddle sitting right here that I put them on to look at? I was looking over at the bike, but I swapped the saddle out a couple times. When I got the French saddle, that's a vintage B17 style Ideale. I put it on that bike, and then I moved it over to the Marin, and then I moved that saddle over to the Trek because I wanted the Better Brook saddle on uh, the Marin for the tour. So yeah, now I can't remember where that saddle. It's a saddle Large Marge gave me that I put the saddle loops on. Oh yeah, I do have it right here. Let's see if I can get some focus. So, uh, Dylan, these are pretty. They're more substantial than I remember. Let's see if I can get a focus on here. So yeah, you just have the. Let's see, doing everything backwards. It is just a screw going through these two plates. That's getting the focus a little better. But they're not super thin. There actually is a little bit of a decent amount of material to them. So that gives you kind of an idea. And like I said, how I have them kind of, just kind of a narrow saddle. So I had them like, I kind of have them like spread out so the valet straps would go through there better. And again, I was only putting the catalyst bag on there. So I don't want to say like go and, tour across the country relying on these. But looking at them now, they are more substantial than, I remember. And they are Allen bolts. They're not like simple screws. So, yeah. Like I said, I don't want to sell anyone on something. And you're right. Rick does ride around with more gear than most of us. I'm so far behind on the chat. Oh, William, you asked about the Marin on the CNO. Like I said, I got 2 more videos about that coming out, and I think we're going to do a live stream. Erin said she's good a week from Tuesday. I haven't asked a week from today. Today is Tuesday. I haven't asked Funny Brad or Large Marge yet. So if they're in for a week from today, I think it'd be an 8 o'clock stream because Erin goes to bed early. We'll talk all about it. But the Marin was fine. I got a flat tire in Pittsburgh from a Staple. Didn't even notice it in Pittsburgh. It's when we took it off the train in D.C. But, yeah, absolutely no problems. I forgot Gravel Kings are a little annoying. Everything on that trail is like cinder or like crushed stone, and Gravel Kings are just the worst when it comes to that. So, like, my fender is just constantly, like, you just rattling with those little stones going through. Even when Large was in front of me, I saw, like, shooting them out the front as it made it all the way around the wheel. I found that to be a little annoying, and I should have known that Gravel Kings are like that. But yeah, everything else was really, really good. Comfortable to ride. So Rick's daily load is a 5-day tour, Tim. Respect that stuff. Yeah, Rick, I know you're talking in the Discord about selling the Brooks saddles. I'm just wondering that you keep saying a cushioned saddle, and to me that's what's funny is because Brooks saddles are what I consider cushioned saddles. Like that's why I like them. Even Terry switched to a B17 on his tour, and he was saying one of his ideas is that he doesn't have to wear bibs anymore, and that's always been one of the things for me with B17s is I don't have to wear padded underwear or bibs or anything like that. So, but everyone's different, so you can't really. I never judge anyone for the saddle they ride if it works for them. So. Brad, were you talking about the saddle loops on the robustness? Oh, Blackball dropped a photo for us. Let's see. Yeah, I never know how stuff comes out. Like when you're looking at when I'm showing something live, if you're watching on your phone, it's probably not very clear. But let's move me out of the way. Yeah, like I said, that's not like a tiny piece of metal. That's not like some little piece of sheet metal. That looks like something that is forged, right? Anything can fail, though, so. Man, I think I missed some. Oh, you guys are talking about Gilligan's Island references? Man. Andrew, you asked the handlebar tape on the Marin. Otis actually, I have it on the receipt. Otis put it on there when I wasn't there. Um, and he even said he was putting something less expensive on there because he thought we might change the cable routing or something. I can't remember, but it's not recommended. Like the GoPro probably won't show this, but just from a couple days in the rain, it is totally like already faded and lost a lot of its color, especially on the tops, because that's where, as you could imagine, you're riding a lot during a tour. Like in the, I ride a lot at the back of the curve of the tops, and then also in the hoods, like most people do, but even on the drops. And I know this GoPro is not really going to cover it, but if you look and see that greenish cast, like it's lost a lot of its color. It is like a soft foamy tape. I wonder if I could look at the bar ends and see exactly what the brand is, but again, it's not like I think I want to switch to a leather. And now that I have the brown leather saddle that was on my truck for years on this bike, I think getting some brown leather bar tape that matched it would be cool. Brooks makes some, but the stuff that I like on my Trek a lot is, I know I have the container back here so I could show the actual brand because I really like it. It's really soft and comfortable, and I just proof ride it once in a while. Huh. It's Cardiff or something like that. I think it's Cardiff is what I wouldn't mind getting for this. Um, just saying that. I bet one of you guys in the chat would know better than me. That box is hanging somewhere around here as the backdrop, but I don't see it right now. So, Jacob, you just picked up Gravel King SS in your favorite so far. Yeah, I think these are SKs, right? Yeah, these are SKs. And they're not bad tires. I've had Gravel Kings before and I liked them. What I should have remembered is the towpath around here, which I ride all the time, is crushed limestone. And Gravel King SKs just pick that stuff up like crazy. It's not even doing anything bad. It's just annoying. And like before I had the fender on here when I rode it once, um, you know, it was just like you just hear it bouncing off your frame. So it's just a little frustrating in that way. So I don't think Panaracer makes any bad tires, and I don't think Gravel Kings on any version are bad tires. They're just if you ride a lot of crushed stone and it's small stuff. It's not like today I rode this across like industrial gravel type stuff. No problem there. It's the little stuff that they just really pick up and throw around. It's a consideration if you ride a lot of trails like that. So CBD infused saddle. Oh, Large got the bar tape question. Cheapo MSW tape. It's like $10. Yeah, so I'm not going to remove it instantly. I'll wear out that bar tape a little bit more, but yeah, cheapo bar tape. I think like I said, I think we weren't didn't totally, and I did change out the stem. Put the Velo Orange Happy stem on there to bump the bars up for touring comfort. Um, so, it's already is what it is. Didn't bother my hands. I didn't ride with gloves or anything, so I'm skipper from now on. Yonda's the professor for sure. Oh, the Brooks cadmium tape. And Cardiff is the tape I was thinking of. Large Marge put it in there. Brooks makes theirs too. Already know I really, really like the Cardiff leather tape. It's really comfortable on the hand, and it's got some cushion to it. And I've unwrapped it and rewrapped it as I redid one of the cables, and it's still fine. So really like that stuff. Yeah, Dylan. And what's the tape I have on the Raleigh, which is finally wearing out? I think is that a Cannondale tape? It's a tape I really really like too. I went. I like it on the Marin because I or the Raleigh because I just have black tape on there now. But I just think with the Marin, that's something that I would put like a little bit of style to match the Brooks into. You know, Skipper wears little caps. Rick's the angry volcano on the other island. Jacob said the SKs are pebble cannons. Yeah, they are. Oh, you put. Oh, Dylan, I don't think I realized that unless I read it somewhere and forgot it that you put the Gravel King slicks on your Velo Orange, as they say. Rene Herse is a Rene Herse is the same exact kind of company, Pudgy, as UltraDynamico. They design tires, and the company that makes Gravel Kings, Panaracer, makes them in their factory. They're tire designers, not manufacturers. And your boy Ronnie is doing the same thing as my boy Jan. He's designing tires that he thinks are the best, and he's having Panaracer make them. So, yeah, Jacob, you don't like slinging pebbles at your friends? Yeah, I ran with just a clip-on rear fender on this trip, so at least it kept me from slinging the pebbles off the back at everybody. It was crazy to see it slinging the pebbles out the front, but it was funny. We stopped somewhere, and the back of my legs were covered with like the cinders. The gap trail as you climb the Continental Divide is mostly cinder, and it had rained a little bit, and I was just like, it was actually shooting up my shorts sometimes. That's how bad they are. But since these are 26-inch wheels, I went into Dirty River to get tires for this bike, and it's what they had, and I didn't feel like spending the money till I knew how I was going to ride and like this bike, and it's when I still had the other stem on there, so I didn't want to spend I think the 26-inch Rene Herses were like almost $100. So, but I'll probably end up switching to them. I know UltraDynamico does make some 26 inches that are compelling as well, so maybe that would be what I'd put on this bike after these tires. Uh, UltraDynamico is an icy hot sensual oil company. Rock Paper COVID said, "You always want to replace your bar tape, but you fight yourself because it still has so much life left." Yeah, that's how I am. Even when I first built up my Trek 500, I just bought some cheap bar tape for it that looked so horrible on the bike. But once I put it on there, I'm like, I'm gonna wear it out because almost all about I'd say except with the leather stuff, and I don't know how long I've had it. You wear out everything because even like I said, that really nice bar tape I really like on the Raleigh has lasted longer than most. But now even just from like I said, I kind of ride my hands like a lot of times at the back of the right where the bars curve to go towards the hoods, and I right there it's just totally wearing out from having my hands there. Muskrat asked whose tires perform best on the trip. You know, with the way I would be interested, and we'll talk. That's a good question to ask when I have Aaron and Brad and Large on. But I think just having the widest tires on this trip for at least the C&O like served me pretty well. Like I said, I talk about the annoyances with the just the kind of terrain or the kind of surface for the SKs, but wide tires are pretty good on the C&O. It's like you could ride it on anything. And I think this time I had the widest tires, and Funny Brad probably had the narrowest at what were you running, Funny Brad, like a 43? Um, but just having to pay attention less. There's like when you're leaving Washington, it can be a little rocky in the trail, and then it's like double track a lot of the time on the C&O trail. And there was some storm damage, so we were going around puddles and over a couple tree type things. So I almost feel like going pretty wide on the C&O is pretty comfortable, but you could obviously ride a 32 or a 38 on it. You would just have to be like paying attention. So the wide tires were nice not to. I would always rather be on Rene Herse tires. I just think they make the best tires, but yeah. Oh yeah, Brad, you were telling me that when we were riding. You said you think that the Terravale Cannonballs throw even more gravel than the SKs. I had Terravale Cannonballs, and I'm wondering if that's why I switched. Well, I wore them out. I'm looking at them sitting over there in the corner, but oh, what's up, Yonda? You said your Fleecer Ridge tires throw some decent pebbles. Like even on like Yonda, would you say even on like the towpath though? Jacob, you weren't super impressed by the UltraDynamicos. I I don't know about now, and I'm willing to try some UltraDynamicos, but a couple people in our friends groups had like what seemed like quality control problems with those, which would also fall back to Panaracer, I think, if they're making your tires. But funny, Brad, didn't you have a couple UltraDynamicos where those triangles kind of got you were losing sealant through it a couple times, right? Pudgy drops toxic masculinity. I'm like, that's a no for me, dog. Audio cut out, did it? Yeah, Jacob, the foam tape is, yeah, rubbery stuff is better for sure. Rubbery, or I know some vegans in the chat, so they're not going to ever use leather. I like the leather, but the rubbery stuff is great. So Yonda said the rubber Rene uses for tread is miles ahead of what Ultra Dynamico and the Gravel Kings are using. Yeah, that's my feeling. Like I said, I haven't ridden the Ultra Dynamicos, but friends have had them. So, and then also like a lot of people were like complaining like at Nutmeg about their Rene Herse tires, and that was like a big thing. They were running the ultra thin ones though, like the what is he? Everyone uses a different term. Every brand uses a different term for their super supple tires. Nutmeg Country is not the place to run the super supple ones. You know what I mean? I ran my regular casings, never flatted. I would even say you're probably better off with the extra tough casing at a place like Nutmeg. You're going down rocky trails, and it'd be the same thing with Unbound. Like you would not want to run like on the Flint Hills, like super thin sidewalls. It wouldn't make sense from any brand, but especially Rene Herse because they make those extra supple, super thin ones. Then you know, there's different tools for different jobs, right? So. Large that has made it up the most hills. That's true. Large Marge did not. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but there is the Paw Paw Tunnel, which is an old canal tunnel, it's not closed, but the approach to it is closed. So if you do the C&O trail, you have to ride over the mountain that in the 1840s they were building a tunnel to go under. So you wouldn't, and Large is the only one who did not have to put a foot down. I don't know if that was due to the tires or the better rider, but yeah. Which UltraDynamicos are you running, Dylan? What's the name of those tires? Oh yeah, and you're using the Cush core too. see if I didn't. God, I hate how this thing scrolls down so far. Jacob, you said you rode more northern sections of CNO and you could ride it on 32, but you liked your 48s. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's Funny Brad was on 42s, and I know if I was on my rally on the Rene Herse tires, I would have been totally fine on those minor 42s. Totally fine. These are probably like 2.1s or something. But they were nice too, and I knew there was no speed. This is a bike tour with friends. We probably averaged 12 miles an hour. So riding wider tires was not going to be well, to a point, I don't believe wider tires slow you down. But yeah. What is it? What size are these? Oh yeah, these are 2 inches. 2 inches that I have on the. What's up, Patrick? How's it going? I think the thing that UltraDynamico, so Dylan, you were talking about the Mars, how they're surprisingly fast on pavement but knobby for the dirt. That's the thing that Rene Herse and UltraDynamico are doing that I think Gravel Kings work like that in a way, like I said, besides the annoyance of like really small crush things, is that feeling of, but the knobbiness, and the not picking up mud that it seems like the UltraDynamicos do and the Rene Herse is above anything I've seen. Like the WTBs I had were pretty good. What model was that? They have a tread pattern similar to the Rene Herse, but they still didn't feel quite as fast on pavement as the Rene Herse ones did. And those are just amazing. You look at them and they look like knobby tires. And then I go and ride my rally like a road bike. Like Dylan, we rode 80 miles right down mostly paved roads, and I'm just feel so good on those tires. So. Oh, Yonda, you were saying larger gravel gets picked up. Yeah. It's the opposite of what I was saying about the problem with the Gravel Kings. It's the small stuff. Speaking of butt plugs. The extraterrestrials are too loud on asphalt. You like quiet bikes. Yeah. And funny Brad was saying what I know he had problems with. The triangles and the gray racers tend to split along the triangle. And I'm wondering if that's too, I don't know if you guys remember when Ryan Hugh was on and he was still a little bit coherent. And then I've read this other place as well that any tires with color in them, where the actual tread pattern is, are not as good as black tires. It just means there's less carbon and they're not going to be as good. And I think that's part of having the gray tires not be as good as the other ones. I think so for those of you who don't know, my buddy Ryan Hugh is a tire engineer for, I was going to say Goodrich, Bridgestone. So he's a chemist, and this the kind of stuff he works on day in, day out. And it's just tires and carbon black tires are just better, and they haven't figured out a way to make colored tires that are as good as black tires. It's just a fact. So. Totally lost in where I am on this chat. How late are we? Are we almost 9:55, almost break time, huh? Jacob, you said being in Maine with your jagged trails, I'd rather just run with the jagged trail. I bet you meant their jagged trails. Beefier and cheaper Gravel Kings. Yeah, there's a time and a place. And people what Traveling Through was saying, he ran the Schwalbe marathons, which are a little heavier tire and stuff like that, but he rode on a fully loaded bike all the way across the country without a flat. Sometimes that's the important thing, And when you're already riding a fully loaded bike, the weight and the suppleness of your tires is probably not going to have too much of a factor. And on the Marin, which is such a thin tubed bike, and the way it's built, I really feel like like this natural suspension to it. Um, this feels like a really smooth bike with 2-inch tires on it. I'm guessing the amount of extra suppleness I'd get out of the Rene Herse tires would not be noticeable in the overall system type thing. So, I'll see you, Andrew. You're probably already gone, but um, yeah, Brad said 42s were fine on the CNO. Yeah, I would have been fine. I think on 42s, but I didn't mind the 2 inches either. They were comfortable. Yeah, I'd be interested in people on Dimitri's question about the tubeless thing, the tubeless sealant, because there's been problems with a couple of the brands and some of the tires, and I can't remember if I talked. No, I was talking to Aaron about this, but the guy who's riding across country with Terry B is riding Rene Herse's, and a bike shop he went to told him specifically not to use a certain brand, and we've noticed this with certain brands that are like they will pour through the sidewalls of tires like Rene Herse. And what was the one you had, Large Marge, where the sealant was kind of leaking through the sidewalls as well? So I know that there are, and like we had just been talking about it, but um, Snake Baby's his handle. I'm trying to think of his actual name. But on Terry B's stream, when I heard him talking about that in the bike shop saying it, it made total sense to me. And I know, yeah, Aaron's had that problem where the sealant is coming through the sidewalls. So, oh, Rick, you put tubes in your extra terrestrial and didn't dry out all the sealant. What a mess. That's what happens when, because I flatted twice on my tubeless tires and I throw a tube in there, and yeah, it makes for a total mess. Jacob, you said you want to try Rene Herse tires someday, but you only have one bike, so the SS works. Yeah, and like Pudgy was saying, when you find what works, keep using it. Um, and that's how I am. Like I had the Cannonballs that Funny Brad was talking about. Then I had those WTBs, and then I put the Rene Herse tires on my Raleigh. And for that bike, those are the tires I want on there. But I've had some Panaracer road tires that I absolutely love on. Um, what bike do I have those Panaracer tires on? I have one of my road bike 32s, and they're awesome. Oh, my Trek 500. Um, yeah. So who makes the? I have tires I really like on the Peugeot too, and I'm trying to think of what those are. But road tires, yeah. Yonda said your green tread gravel SKs are much harder and not as grippy as the black ones. Yeah. Doe's Tacos, what's up? You said skin wall tires all day. Yeah, I mean tan wall, skin wall. I love the look of tan wall tires. I always have. So, but yeah, I didn't mind the 2 inch either. Dimitri? You're running Continental Terra Speed. Is that on your new gravel build? I should pull up a picture of that here. Oh, Sean. Thanks, Sam. Sean is the name of the guy Terry's riding with. He has what, 3 different names? So I mean handles with the Snake Baby, and my mind's just going blank. I've been thinking about too many things today. Oh, Jacob, you said Stan went right through your WTB sidewalls. Orange Seal does a better job. I think Rene Herse makes their own sealant too, right? It's more expensive, of course, like everything they do. Dimitri said you're not sure what the sealant is. It's shipped tubeless. If you're not having any problems, I wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, it will matter when you need to refill it. So. Pudgy said the new Silka stuff is very thick compared to Orange Seal and Stan's. Patrick, you said you've had both leak through different tires. I don't I don't feel like it is just the nature of the beast because I haven't had that problem. But then again, I'm just biased because I haven't had that problem. Pudgy, are you really you're really working for that plugs joke? I have never plugged a tire. I always just throw a tube in when I've had a problem, and I also have run. I always carry those little boots. I need to get a Dynaplug kit for when that happens. But I've usually when I've been leaking sealant or went flat, I haven't figured out what happened. Like it wasn't a sliced tire. I've only yeah. I don't think I've yeah. I don't know. Rick asked when's part two of the CNO dropping Thursday. So I never, if you've noticed, I never put out a video the day after a stream because people watch the streams the next day, which surprises me, but they do. So then my two videos compete with each other, so I always only put out one video a day. So doing a live stream is almost like putting a video out on Wednesday or Friday. So I only put out like a video on Friday if I didn't stream on Thursday. So yeah, the next video in that series is already all the footage is edited together. I just need to do the voiceover, which I'm going to do tomorrow and upload and then schedule it for Thursday morning. And then my goal, and I've already started on, there'll be three. So there'll be the CNO trail because it's already, I think it's like 16 minutes of the CNO trail. And then there'll be the Gap trail, which my goal is to just put out on Saturday morning. So. Yonda said old sealants will look like oil spots on tires. All right. William, you said you have tubes in all your bikes? You haven't gone tubeless yet? Uh, so I guess I'm only tubeless on one of my bikes, but it's the bike that I ride. If I did the math, it probably would come out to 80% of my miles on. I just looked, I have over 14,000 miles on the Raleigh now. So, but like I was saying, I wouldn't mind eventually getting a wheel set built up for this Marin. I love these vintage spin wheels, but one, the brake tracks aren't going to last forever. And I was thinking of maybe, since I'm using it as a touring bike, getting a dynamo built into the front wheel. So we'll see. It'll depend on how the summer goes financially and all that kind of stuff. But bike-wise, like, I'm not saying I won't buy anything cheap to tinker on around here, and especially for the streams. But between the Marin, my Raleigh, the Trek 500 kind of is my road bike and my upright single speed, and then my old mountain bike is my winter bike. I just feel like I just want to focus all my money and attention on like keeping those bikes and making them the best they can be. Like I'll still jump out on my vintage bikes when I want to. The Peugeot's super sentimental. I think the Viscount is super unique. But yeah, I feel like going to get some of those Growtex for the Raleigh, put those on there. I went to the shop to get stuff today. Like I put in the title and forgot to order, but they were really busy, so that's kind of the reason on that. But let's see what the vote. Can I make a tubeless? Wait, there was a way to make a poll on here before. Did they have that go away? Oh, here it is. I know you guys already answered, but okay. I'm just gonna. I know some of you will have mixed bikes like I do, but let's just do it tubes or tubeless, and go with what you prefer, basically. All right, it's at the top of the chat. It should be. So, like, I would actually, personally, I would still vote tubeless because it's what I prefer, even though I only have one bike that's tubeless. Like I said, it's the bike I ride all the time. I literally think about it when I'm riding over rougher stuff on my tubed bikes. It like now pops in my head compared to being used to my Raleigh that's tubeless. Oh, that's the other thing. Like changing out these wheels would be so I could have tubeless wheels on this bike, and you know, but I love them so much. Patrick, you said you have both tubes and tubeless on different bikes. Rusty thinks you're crazy. Yeah, if you have that's the thing. I have old bikes, you know, an old wheel set, so I know you can technically set them up to be tubeless. I'm not a huge fan of it. My look has that old Mavic set, and the guy bought the that buddy Kevin who does the 216 whatever the carbon component company that we've talked about. He set them up tubeless, but I still put tubes in them. So Jacob, you said you think studded winter wheels would be the only thing you'd have tubed, leave tubed, and I think same with me. Patrick, pretty sure your All City has one tubed and one tubeless. Well, that happens to me sometimes too. Hey, what's up, Gabriel? You said, what's my take on tubular tires in general? Uh, I only have one tubular wheel set, and I switched it out right away because I don't want to deal with tubular tires. But I understand why professionals and serious racers run them. You know, tubular tires are, um, if you're talking about actual like Phillips tubular tires, are still a really, really good technology for racers. But I don't want to carry an extra tire with me that has to be glued onto a rim, if that's what you're asking. Uh, but you know, super supple tubular race tires. Like I understand why the pros run them, but reading all the tubeless versus tubular comments. First, tubes versus tubeless. Oh, Sam, you put some Growtex on? Nice. Yeah, Dylan put his on. And what was your comment, Dylan? Dylan, you said the Growtex, you said they stop better than clampers, but you still like the clampers better. So be interested in hearing more about that. And Dimitri, you said, yeah, tubeless on gravel, tubed on the single speed. That's where I'm at. Like all my road bikes are, you know, tube bikes, but everyone stopped voting. The percentages perfect. Let's see what is the poll showing. Go to channel and I can only see. Can you guys see both parts of the poll? I could only see tubeless. Oh, I had to click on it. Tubeless has 69. Tubes have 31. Does that pop up now that I ended it? Oh, there we go. Yeah. 13, only 13 of you voted. That's a very small sample size. Well, I haven't paid attention to how many are watching. Maybe only 13 people are watching. 24. So, let's see. Dylan said so we're talking about the Growtex here. The pad adjustment and cable tension is not tool free on the Growtex. Okay. But it is on the clampers. Ah, that makes sense. Gabriel said Campy versus Durace. I just all that stuff is, I have a low end Campy group set and I have 9-speed Durace, but when it comes to like the modern of each, they're way out of my budget and something I would never buy. I think modern Durace is only within the reach of serious cyclists, and I would say professionals only. I don't think any man, unless you're just rich, I don't know why you'd be buying Durace. Campy's, they're always going to make great stuff. They're a small company, but there's a huge rivalry among vintage bike nerds about that stuff too, if you're talking about old stuff. But period correct, Italian stuff on Italian bikes, all that. But Growtech doesn't have the mythical lore of Paul. Yeah. Dylan, we should do like a I was thinking about this actually when I was riding today, because I'm going to if I put the Growtechs on the Raleigh, which I intend to, I can't really compare them to anything because I only have, talking about tubes versus tubeless, I only have one disc brake bike. I have all rim brakes. So when I put the Growtechs on the Raleigh, the only thing I'm going to have to compare them to are my well used TRP Spires, which, whether it's because of their design flaw or they're just worn out, they don't work very well. So it would be great to, like, Dylan, you need to like record something and send it in. Like if I'm going to like do like any review, because you're the only one I think who could actually give like a legitimate feedback. Not the only one, but someone that I know personally who could also film something well. Because I don't have the knowledge to be like, to me, they're probably going to seem like the best brakes in the world for mechanical disc brakes because I've come from something that's not working anymore. So. Tim loves his TRP Spires. Rick, you're not that impressed with the cantilevers? Yeah, so using the vintage Mayfax I have on here aren't super impressive either, but I'm also running brakes that were made for 700C wheel set on a vintage cross bike on 26-inch wheels that I tried to set up and make work. It wasn't a problem, like I rode down on a fully loaded bike, like I said, the other side of the Paw Paw detour, which is basically mountain biking. So it's not like I'm flying off the cliff and dying, but yeah. Candies take a lot of adjustment too. Like you could set them up a lot of different ways to get maximum stopping power versus modulation and all that stuff, which is beyond me. So. Jacob, you put the, I'll pronounce this wrong, June F1s on your GF State. Are those the ones that are cable actuated, but then they have like hydraulic fluid at the caliper, so they're kind of hybrid brakes, if you will? Yeah, Patrick, I know you like your TRPs, and Pudgy said he didn't have a problem with them, even though he's still upgraded to hydros. I'm wondering if TRP, has updated the Spire design. Mine are from 2014, so they could have, Spires don't, I don't know, they might not be exactly the same as what I was running, so. I'm reading your comment, Yonda. He makes cool shit, but inability to optimize manufacturing for better pricing. Thomson Elite versus Paul, tall and handsome. No competition. The Thomson is lighter and stronger, one piece and cheaper. Dylan, I can't tell if that's a joke or serious. You don't care about the parts, you will pay more because Paul seems cooler. Yeah, I'm talking about my brakes. They're $60 brakes with 20,000 miles on them. They're worn out. Oh, I missed your comment, Pudgy. Tim's brakes were in their prime when the Rubber Bull had season ticket holders. I think too, like so. From everything I've ever heard about any Paul brakes, whether they're the clampers or the side pulls or the cantilevers and any of that stuff, you're you're also paying a premium not just because they're designed well and work really well, but they're small, right? I mean, there's a lot of their stuff is CNC'd. That's just a factor. You're paying also. To me, it's not necessarily for the coolness. It's for the you're paying people that you can know. You know what I mean? You could watch interviews with the people who run, obviously, and work for the company, and they're like a small place. And that's the same thing with White Industries. Like when you buy a White Industry crankset, like you're just buying from a smaller company. You're having more effect. You know, Lenke was saying that about why he likes Campy. To go back to Gabriel's question, is there's 900 employees at Campy, and there's 90,000 at Shimano. That's don't quote me on those numbers. It was just some kind of analogy like that. He was just saying he prefers to support Campy, and if you have the money, there's nothing wrong with that, especially if the stuff functions. I'm against it when it becomes just like, you know, so EF's Paulus kit is dropping on Friday, and people are going to buy it and they're going to flip it on eBay. Just because it says Paulus, I'm not going to pay $300 for a cap. If I could get in there and get it for the price that it normally is, I'm going to get it because I love EF. But that's where the difference becomes like a thing to me. Like if it's a small manufacturer that's making really good stuff, like, and you don't mind paying that premium and you have the money and the stuff is really good, cool. But if it's just, I think me and Dylan were talking about this when we were riding. There's certain brands that just become cool to be cool, and that's the stuff that I think is a little more ridiculous, Like I said, Swift bags I think are super expensive, but I haven't found anyone who designs like Paradise style bags as well as Swift does yet. I like my Roadrunner stuff. I've got a basket bag from Roadrunner. That's the other thing I picked up today was the largest tell me they had these, but the contrast isn't very good right there. But it's a feed bag that's designed to go on baskets. And as I've told you guys, I can never have the stem mounted ones because the way I ride, my knees would hit them. But so that's like to me like a great thing. And again, a California bag manufacturer, they've gone up to a little more scale, so their price is down a little bit, but you're still paying a premium over something that's made in China, right? Wait, what? Wait, what is what is Yanda's comment? I missed it. Wait, Dylan said he's serious. Bikes are about the curation of cool for you. But you also mean like cool stuff by like cool manufacturers, not just for the sake of it. Like you're not going to buy something that had a name brand that was garbage, Dylan. Yonda said, "Oh yeah, Thomson straight up told me I was a fat fuck and couldn't ride a masterpiece to my face at Interbike, but I still buy their shit." But Tim had the chance to say neo retro and didn't. When Dylan had his, if you guys remember when we did the live stream, because I don't think you have that bike anymore. What was? It's a number in the name, and I always forget it. The S7. What was your titanium bike? And you were talking about how you like to buy stuff from But you were saying it in more of a supporting way, not just because it was cool. You were saying you like to support, like, and I think we were talking about like white industries and Paul and all that stuff. But we need to have Dylan back on now. Yonda said we don't talk about white industries. Well, that's what Funny Brad runs. Funny Brad has a white industries crank. Pudgy said if he wasn't able to finally get a set of GRX levers, you were planning to get clampers. That's why you have the 105 levers, which I'm definitely interested in. So, Dylan said all bike stuff works good enough. Pick the stuff that excites you the most. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I I guess I can't argue with him because I think 9-speed Shimano is like good enough for almost everything. Like on the Marin, I absolutely love the 9-speed Ultegra. I love the way the shifting feels. 9 speeds are enough for me. I need to put a wider range rear cassette on it. I love the way the silvery stuff looks. Like I said, here you go, Pudgy. If I'm doing a Neo Retro build, 9-speed Shimano looks awesome. So you get brifters, STI as Shimano calls them. So you get relatively modern shifting, works like modern shifting, and it still looks good on a vintage bike, like even 105. So we say fat fuck after 10. I'm not sure Thomson called Yonda fat fuck. I gotta agree with Funny Brad on this one. Damn it. What's a cool brand to be a cool brand out of curiosity? Sam, you got me on the spot. Let me think if anyone else answered in here. I don't have Pudgy. I don't have a single Swift bag that was made overseas. Every single Swift bag I have was made in the USA. Sam said Roadrunner bags are bomb proof. Yeah. Yonda said handmade bags take an individual's times. Part changers on a CNC is not skilled labor. I don't know. I photographed in a lot of machine shops, and yeah. Dylan said, "Just let me know, Tim. I will crash the stream." Oh, Yonda is talking about the hubs, Brad, because you had the problems with your white industry hubs. Oh, your levels are Ultegra, Pudgy? They're 11-speed Ultegra? We try to get for those. I'm definitely interested. Patrick, you have the bags by Alex, half frame bag from Etsy. My first Roadrunner bag, I had was from Etsy. That's when before they had like the deal with Velo Orange or anything. I got one of the little just a hip bag from Roadrunner early on. So, hey, what's up, Sleepy Howler? Microshift Advent X. Isn't that what oh, is Dimitri still here? I think Dimitri's new gravel bike has Advent X on it. Jack Supply. Have they reviewed Jack Supply? Are they Russ on Pathless Pedal? That sounds really familiar. Yeah, Pudgy. When you're saying the nice thing about 9-speed Shimano is it's universal. Yonda has a derailleur that he talks about being worth like $10 million on eBay that he should really give me. The chat is rapid tonight. Yeah, I can't keep up tonight. They didn't call him a fat fuck because it was before 10. CNC butt plug machinist. Yeah, Jacob said he loves Roadrunner. So Dirty River gets all the Roadrunner stuff now. So like that's why I like got some of it for this trip. Usually I just buy my stuff what Dirty River can get. I did order my Swift bags, but it was after Dylan told me that the first Swift bag I got was from REI because I had my, what do you call that? I forget the word every time, and you guys always tell me. End of the year money that REI gives you, and they had one, so that's when I got it. And then I bought the Camp and Go Slow version. So I think Roadrunner is up there with Swift. And for certain styles of bags, they do them just as well, if not better. But I think for the Paradise style bag, still Swift is the top. Bags by Bird, definitely they look cool. I've seen them. I haven't used one, but some of the other small companies too. Oh, Dimitri, your new bike is SRAM? I thought, why did I get the impression? I thought it was Advent. Oh, by Dogecoin. Dropped a photo of his new Poseidon in the Discord. That's what I was thinking of. So that's by Dogecoin's new bike. And I think that was Advent, wasn't it? Yeah. That's where I got the two mixed up. Oh, let's show Dylan's bike. We've been talking about this as well. If I look at bikes, I'm never going to keep up on this chat. But Dylan's Rodineering, Fellow Orange, Pass Hunter, right? Yeah. And I think we have the same cranks, right? The same cranks as I have on my Marin. Lost my focus. Oh, Sam said yes. Russ did do a video on the Jack Supply bags. I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that, Rick, that Jack the Rack may be here in September. Oh, yeah, they're talking about the derailleur. It's worth money, not that much, maybe 100. Yeah, I was early in on the Jack the Rack thing. I was hoping to have it for the tour. Originally, my idea was just to prop up my Swift Zeitgeist in the front and be able to maybe even attach stuff or stack stuff on top more, but yeah. But you said you feel like you're the only person that's not in the REI club. The only reason I am is because they opened up a new one around here with huge discounts. I went up to get my, I knew I wanted a tent to be able to do bike packing and a sleeping bag. So I knew I'm already going to be spending like $600, and with those discounts and then the whatever refund, I can't think of the word that you get at the end of the year. That's why I am. And then when we're traveling, like when Aaron flatted or stuff like that, you can stop in there, and then I use my card to buy everything, and then I get that money back at the end of the year. So I try to support the local bike shops, and Otis I know can order some camping stuff, but that's the only reason I go REI. So Patrick, you said for Paradise style bags, you like Bags by Bird over Swift. Nice. I haven't actually held one in person, so I can't deny that. Oh, Chris, you came back totally getting that Frost River handlebar bag. Said, I've that Frost River handle wax canvas. I've used the hell out of that with no issues. So, oh, Patrick, you said, yeah, the version 2 of the, you know, the Zeitgeist is just awesome. Man, this is the fastest this chat is. This is a record for the chat. Dure shifters and random can't be 3 by derailleur. Oh, you mean Dirachi? Why do I keep mispronouncing Dirachi? Large, Large comes back with Tim was hoping he could jack it on tour. Oh, Alto, you said you're fixing up an '84 Univega. No down tube mounts. Oh yeah, would have had a they were clamp on. I have some of those. Yeah, Chris, your bike would have had something like this. Focus, you dumb. Come on, I could hear it trying. There we go. Yeah, your Univega would have had something like that where you actually just put it around the tubes. This is probably one for a stem, actually, but same principle. If I have one that would fit that bike, you can have it. I would probably never use them again. These are actually decent Sun Tour ones, this set.
Pudgy Pedal Pusher Super Shattered $1.99. But plug bake country but plug yanda banana.
Oh man, Pudgy. Hey, what's up, Al? We were talking about the Terry B cross country tour a lot. Yeah, Chris, hit me up DMs on Instagram if you are interested. I do have some decent Sun Tour clamp-on shifters. But yeah, bar ends or micro shift would work as well too. I'm not crazy about bar ends. I have them on my winter bike. I don't know. I guess got used to them, but I think I rode down tube shifters longer. So obviously brifters, that's just a technology that's can't be beat. But dividend is the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Jacob. REI is dividend. Yeah. Jacob, you asked how I carry my mirrorless camera on gravel rides. I don't like my pro cameras to be in the bike bags. So I have a Peak Design bag. I actually have a whole video about how I carry my cameras on my when I'm riding. But on this tour with the basket and the Roadrunner bag, I had so much clothes. I used the Roadrunner bag in my basket for my clothes and stuff like that. So when it was going to rain, I put it in a plastic bag and put it in that bag because there was so much cushion. But if I'm really going to be bouncing around, I don't put my cameras in my bike at all. I have them on my back. I just feel like that added suspension, especially with mirrorless and the IBIS, and especially if I'm carrying a nice lens, I just won't. So I have a sling bag, and Peak Design makes great ones that like you have a strap that could loosen it so you could swing it around your front real quick and then tighten it up against your back when you're riding so it doesn't come sliding around all the time. feel free to hit me up later. If you want me to send you a link to any of their stuff, I think it's the best, Peak Design, but look up Peak Design and their sling bag series. But oh, Chris, you said clamp-on shifters won't work with a modern stem adapter. Yeah, these are... The second set is made to go on the down tube. There should be a little diamond built into your frame, and usually that's what like kind of works as a stop for these things. There'd be like a little diamond on the down tube. All my bikes that have clamp-on down tube shifters, there's a little piece of metal there. If they didn't have them integrated, they usually welded a little piece of metal there that these slide on top of. But yeah, not the best solution anyways. A lot of people don't want a down tube shift anymore. So. Oh, you just said that. Sorry, Chris. I'm so behind in the chat. You didn't think about mounting the clamp-on shifters on the down tube. Yeah, that's where they originally would have went. Yeah. So everything's a butt plug if you're brave enough. The other thing, so top tube shifters, just like I was saying with that first set I showed were top tube shifters, so those would have went on the stem. They had the smaller ring. But I never, oh yeah, right here. I never liked those because just like how I said I can't use a feed bag on my stem, like I have top tube shifters on the Riviera. If I'm standing up too far forward, I'll actually bump my knees and shift gears. And it's always at the worst time because if you're pedaling that hard, that's really when you don't want your gears to shift. So I like down tube better. It's just in a better spot. You're never going to hit it. But then you're also taking your hand off the bars and reaching down. If you're not used to it, it's different. So, oh, that's what Rick said. Bar ends suck with the knees. Oh, do we need to make a new command for the... Yeah, Jacob, on this tour, like I said, on this tour, I just put a vintage camera strap on my R5 and just carried it on my back. And like I said, when it looked like it was going to be bad weather, then I put it in the bag. But again, it was a bag that I knew there was just so much stuff in there that it wasn't really getting bounced around. So. Do I want your spires too? Well, Summit Perry commented in the Discord that he would take my spires if I got the Growtex, and I'm like, why would you build a bike that you don't want to stop? But oh yeah, I think Dimitri's gone, but I should have showed this earlier. But he's always been, I think, been a single speed guy, but did finally get a full-on gravel bike. Bolt two spires together and it'll be a third as good as a clamper. Yeah, maybe I could do two. Maybe I put two discs and then I face the spires towards each other. So. Feed bags on my stem sounds dirty. Have I seen the shit he rides? They don't stop anyways. All right, let's take a quick break. I think we'll hang out for one more minute. When I take this break, I don't know how I'll ever catch up on the way this chat is going tonight, but I'm going to do it anyways because I'm going to hit the bathroom and grab one more beer. And then we'll do like 20 more minutes. Oh, Pudgy, that's the exact Jameis you used to have before the Bear Claw? Oh, it is a Renegade. You were right. Whoever guessed that. Sam. All right, yeah, break. I'd like to take a moment to thank the channel members. They're the ones who make it possible to invest this much time into YouTube and also to buy the gear that makes it possible to run this channel. So thanks to them. If you're interested in supporting the channel, there's a link to that down below. One more thing, if you feel like it, stop by the gear shop, which is also listed below. You could get some cool bandanas, stickers, shirts, swag, whatever. And now you can get back to your beloved Tuna Boat song. We will be back in one moment. I'm back. Excuse me. I was actually looking at the oil marks Dimitri was talking about on his tires. To think over here. But you're saying that might be from the hydraulic brakes? Yeah, I wonder if that's the sealant. Oh yeah, you can see it. Huh. I wouldn't think those Continental sidewalls would be that thin, but who knows? If it is sealant leaking through. But again, like I said, I've never bought a new set of wheels that were already set up tubeless, so I don't know how that works out. Skin wall. But skin wall is the British term, right? Tan wall is the American term. What else we got in here? Were there drink picks? I haven't even looked. We just started like, I think people are pent up. Like, you know, we haven't done just like a rambling conversation for a while. We just started talking like crazy. So. Slap bag. Pudgy had the juice shandy with blueberry, but he was saying it tasted more like a sour or a goza. Oh, Blackball's got the nice. What was his caption here? Coming home from a ride, we'll be joining the stream. Okay, yeah, that's what he said. Nice use of a graph sticker as well. I was Jay Danny, I was entirely thinking of the slap bag when I bought the feed bag today. And I was like, oh yeah, I can't use a stem bag, and thinking of this stream, which I'll change the title of because all we've talked about is tires for the most part for the first hour. But yeah, I was like, yeah, because I can't use a feed bag or a slap bag, as Jay Dandy would be more preference to. Did you get that slap bag yet or not? All right, Dylan. Good night. Stupid cool. That's the best response ever. Slap bags are stupid. Stupid cool. Keep on plugging. See you, Dimitri. Probably chat with you on the Terry B streams after the tour. I was in all day today, but I never pulled up the chat. I just had it on the TV in the background. Oh, and then I did go for a bike ride, so I saw part of it. But oh, Sleepy Holler, slapbag is no euphemism. Do we need to pull up slapbag footage again? I'm only pulling up slapbag footage if Googling it in quotes brings it up. If I have to search, I'm not that committed to the cause. It does. It's the first thing on the search page, so probably because I've looked it up before, right? Oh, binged it. I didn't Google it. I binged it. They actually bought slapbag.com, huh? There you go. Just put your stuff in there and slap it. Jay Dandy, you're all talking, no action. I think you're known as much for slap bags as maps. I think you'd have to get one of these things. Whoops. Skinwall slap bag. I do have one of those. Sam, so the thing is that you were the one who was asking if it was a euphemism, right? So it's like a slap bracelet technology up there in the top, if you remember, if you're old enough to remember those. Oh, look at this. They're like sold out of everything but... No, they're sold out of the black and the gray. So. No skin wall. They do have camo, though. I don't know how you'd ever find that thing. But oh, Brad, you asked what feedback I got. I just got the so the ones well, maybe you weren't there, maybe you were already gone, but just got that the Velo Orange ones that are Roadrunner, the Roadrunner, but the Velo Orange collab that attach to the basket because that's why I wanted it. You know, I wouldn't mind having a fuzzy stitchwork one, a Cleveland company or something like that, but like I wanted the ones that actually attach to the basket, and so it also matches my black Roadrunner bag. So not that I care that much about the matching type thing, but that's what I picked up. Didn't go slap bag. Sorry, Jay Dandy. Could have got a black slap bag, but it was really I was in the shop to get this tail light, a tail light, and this is the new what's the Night Rider. These things are so bright. They have the clip, so if you're going to put it on your bag, that's great. And then they also have like the clip mounts into the strap. But the best thing about it, which I don't know if this bothers you guys, finally, USB-C. No more micro USB. Like, I know that seems like that's the ultimate first world problem, but micro USB is such a pain to get into your light. I don't know if you guys have, especially on headlights, but look at this array of LEDs. This thing is like I picked it up and was like, I mean, it is just like so bright. It's awesome. And I just keep, I've given away a bunch of my taillights. I've lost a bunch of my taillights. And so it's just nice to have. This is one I'm going to try and keep my eye on and, you know, whatever. I'll probably bounced off cheap taillights. But yeah, this is pretty great. So. That's what she said. J Dandy changing his name to Map Slaps. Chris Alto, was PLP happy slapping his bag? Gabriel, so what you were saying about Andrew Hampstead's Huffy sponsored the team. Those bikes were Serratos from California. Uh, they even still say it on the chainstays. Those bikes were not Huffies. They were made by Serrota, and they just put the Huffy logo on them. And they actually, which is funny because you say that. So the Andrew Hampstead and 711, they rode Serrotas 1 year with Dura-Ace, but 711 also rode Huffy Murray branded 711 bikes that were made by Eddie Merckx as their original sponsor, and they rode them with Campy. So it's funny you say that. So 711 rode two different bikes that were both branded Huffy, and one was actually Eddie Merckx, and one was California branded Serrotas, or California made, handmade Serrotas. So if you want to nerd out about American cyclists who were good pro racers, yeah, that, I got you. Yeah, they never raced on anything made by Huffy. They only raced on something that had a Huffy decal on it, and that is not just American racing. Even in the late '70s, the Peugeot team was like they were sponsored by Peugeot. There was a couple years where they were racing handmade frames from Italy, and they were still painting them up like Peugeot factory bikes. That was pretty common back in the day. Greg LeMond would sometimes ride bikes that he got built in the U.S. He would bring them over to Europe, and they would paint them to look like whoever the sponsors were. That was fairly common. So. Oh yeah, Gabriel, no problem. Yeah, yeah. And if you just looked at the pictures, you'd think they're Huffy. Like, oh wow, they rode Huffies. They didn't ride Huffies ever. Yeah. Wait, Sorota's in New York? Is it Sleepy Hollow? I thought they were. He was a California-based frame builder. That part I'm not 100% sure on. Andy Hampstead would be Jay Dandy before the doping era. I don't mean that they weren't doing anything, but they're before the super intense doping that went on, sponsored by the teams later. Because even Greg LeMond, couldn't compete once the doping era really started. So I'm not saying Hampstead never did anything wrong, but like I'm not saying he never took any speed or anything, but they weren't doing the level of doping that was going on later that we now know about. So. Who had Stu, my buddy. I talked to him today in the bike shop. I don't. Stu would be interesting to have on the live stream. He's like an old school roadie, but he just did the CNO and Gap Trail in the spring. They got bogged down in the mud, but me and him always nerd out about pro racing. But he had a Sirota. I think he sold it. He just bought they were fixing it in the shop. Yonda was fixing it in the shop today. He has a Gunner now, but I think he sold his Sirota road bike. So If it's pronounced Serrata, that don't get on my case. I think it's Serota though. Pudgy, you said Sleepy is correct. I thought Serota was named after the frame builder, not the place that they were built. I thought Serota was the guy's last name, but I don't want to pretend like I know everything about. I just know that the one year that they were Huffy branded, one of the years they were Huffy branded, they were actually Serotas. But I always thought Serota was from California, and that was the frame builder's name. But I could be wrong about that. So smoke dope on a Huffy. I grew up with a Huffy, little dirt bike, BMX, whatever you'd call it. You know, that was my first bike. And when we were in Dayton, me and Aaron, like there was actually some, when Huffy was a legit brand, like some really old, cool, vintage Huffy stuff right around the Wright Brothers bicycle workshop. So I huff smoke on a dope. Sam, you're a Gunner fan? Yeah, I think Gunner is a really cool brand. Okay. Sleepy, you said it's the one bike thing upstate New York can brag about. Huh. I need to actually look into their history. Totally aware of the brand and like what they do and or what they did. I'm not modern, but I was totally wrong about that. Interesting. Hmm. Serota is from New York and it's named after the place. Need to keep that in mind for my nerdy bike history knowledge. So, what else did we need to cover on this stream? Oh yeah, that's the other thing I grabbed is because the wheels I got from Pudgy have holes for Schrader valves. I didn't have a pump that could take Schrader, so I picked up this Cannondale pump, which I really like because it's one of the ones that have the tube, so you're not like destroying the valve as you pump the bikes up. And it also, you just flip this little piece around when you want to go between the Presta and the Schraders. And I had Jan to sell this to me. I was asking him what was better because they had the really nice brand. How do you pronounce that? Lejuan. But this was actually, I think, even a more expensive pump, and it was smaller, which was kind of a little more of a selling point for me. But yeah, my pump is so old that it's only Presta, and so I've always just kind of risked it when I ran one of my vintage bikes with Schraders. But now riding the Marin on tours and stuff, like on the tour, Large had a pump that he knew would work for both, so I wasn't worried about it. But going out alone on a tubed bike, I had to get something. But I'm pretty impressed with this. I haven't used it yet, but it feels like super quality. I bet Cannondale's like, you know, having someone else make this for them. But yeah, how do you pronounce that? Leiwan. Leiwan. All right. I even watched the Pathless Pedal interview in their factory, and I couldn't remember. I was trying to remember before I streamed how he pronounced it, and then I'm like, I don't know. So, if you're of my vintage, you might remember the greatest BMX racer of all time, Stu Thomson. I've heard that name, but 1984, I was 6 years old. So my Huffy was definitely Kmart. My parents didn't buy. I didn't grow up, I grew up totally solidly middle class, probably like slightly upper middle class, but they're just, was the attitude, you're going to grow out of it. We're not going to spend a bunch of money on this. I'm sure my Huffy was Kmart bike, but again, even an 80s Kmart bike was better than their modern Kmart bike. So, oh, Chris, no, you didn't miss the grab shirt thing. Everything was building up to our trip, and like with me being so busy, like I have a bunch of stuff that I can't wait to get done. I started this week on getting a few things done, like tuna boat stickers, the Slam Beers Not Stem stickers. Tuna boat stickers are going to be basically free to anyone who wants them, who watches the stream. I'll only talk about them in the stream when I make them. But then they have Slam Beers Not Stems that I had Micah made, which is a great design. And then, yeah, the grab pre-orders on all that is something I have on my list to work on next week. So just got spring through summer was all, I mean, summer now. Spring through vacation was just back-to-back work, and it was fantastic because, freelancer, making money. But I can't believe I kept up getting a YouTube video out every week. I was just slammed. So, yeah, now I've got a little bit of time. Things have slowed down to a comfortable pace of work. So, oh, Black Ball, you asked. It's not pronounced Lazine? I'm going to trust Large on this. He knows pronunciations. I'm not that he doesn't read, but I'm a reader, so I read everything, and then I can't remember how stuff is pronounced. Oh, Lazine? Oh, you were joking. He was joking. Lazine. Rick said Laywan. Pudgy said he's always said Lazine. Oh, yeah, and that's kind of Large's more phonetical spelling. Lazine. Yeah, Lazine. Gabriel, you bought a 1983 Centurion track bike. I wouldn't say I know anything about it without a photo, but I've seen their triathlon bikes. It seems like all high performance type stuff. Yeah, I don't. Track bikes are bikes that I think look cool, but know about zero about. But I do know Centurion is, racy. All their stuff is racy. And I've seen really expensive triathlon bikes that they've made and stuff like that from the 80s. Yeah, a boratorium. Yeah, I guess Large doesn't know how to pronounce everything. I'm usually the one who's getting made fun of in the group for pronunciation, but Large did call the Arboretum the Arboretorium, so they've got one pronunciation thing on them over 6 years. So single speed is all you need. Yeah. Who said single speed is two speeds fast and faster? I was thinking about that. I think someone said it during last week's stream when I was doing the interview, and I didn't have time to get to it. But I was thinking in Akron it'd be the opposite because it's slow and fast. Because if you're going up the hill, you're going really slow, and if you're going down the hill, maybe fast. But good comment, Jane. And single speed is all you need, not all you want. Jacob said single speed has 3 speeds: sitting, standing, and walking. All right, Chris, good night. I'm about to sign off as well. You can never be in the right gear if you're always in the wrong gear. Yeah, let's wrap it up here. So Thursday stream, I had originally planned to go downtown for an event, but if you guys watch the news at all, things in Akron have been pretty wild, and it's not uncomfortable to go downtown. I know I put this in the stream description, Rick, and never got to it, but I went downtown with my buddy Kyle on Friday. We rode bikes, we got beers, no problems. There was nothing going on. They just have plow trucks, city trucks, stuff blocking like certain streets where the courthouse is, all that. No action. It's not dangerous to be down there. There's been a few groups of like hooligans, not even the protesters who have smashed some windows, but like we're not like, it's not like martial law down here. It's not scary to go downtown Akron or anything like that. But so me and Kyle got out before curfew. Saturday, I went down and marched with the protest. He said, I'm not anti-cop. I'm not anti-anything. They should have let this kid run. There were no warrants for his arrest. He didn't need to be pumped full of bullets. Simple as that. That's my opinion. Went down and marched. Totally peaceful. The cops didn't show up. And so there was no escalation and no confrontation and no problem. It was some speeches at the courthouse and then a march around downtown. So, yeah, totally weird, totally surreal to see, like, you know, I'm in Cuyahoga Falls, but I identify with Akron a lot. It's where I lived most of my life. It's the bigger city. But, yeah, strange, but not dangerous at all. Like, you know, not dangerous to go march in these marches, you know, and be a white dude. It's no problem at all. I saw a lot of people I knew there. So, yeah, but so basically coming back to the stream, because I'm not going to get too much into this after a couple beers. Maybe we'll talk about it on Thursday. I wanted to go to one of the concerts, the live concerts at the museum. I'm guessing they're probably going to cancel it. A lot of things are getting canceled, not out of like fear of danger, but more out of like respect for what's going on, like 4th of July and stuff. When they cancel that all around here, I don't even think it was as much about like worrying about trouble as like, is this time for a party downtown Akron? So Thursday, play the stream by ear. Like I said, Thursday morning, second trip video will come out. And then hopefully next Tuesday, have Aaron Large and Funny Brad over here. And we will nerd out and have a good, goofy old time talking about the CNO. So, yeah, I definitely, no, I wouldn't mess with the curfew either, Jay Dandy. That's not my, and I think people are pushing it on that again, too, or people are looking for something. And I don't feel like that's the general vibe of the protest here. Like, it's organized. They're looking for very specific, you know, demands and stuff like that. It's just like anything. When anything goes sideways, there's always going to be people who are going to push it. But yeah, it's not scary. It's not scary. It's surreal. It's when I first went downtown on Friday, and me and Kyle were sitting at Akron and Brewing, and we had been gone on our trip while this was going down. It like almost became overwhelmingly emotional. It's not fun to see your downtown boarded up. At the same time, I'm also someone who wanted to go and march for what's going on. So, two different sides of, you know, things aren't black and white, to use an analogy that feels really weird right now. But again, it's not how it is. It's not how anything is. So, all right. Yeah, I'm going to end it on that. Weird note I'm getting too up in my own head here now. But yeah, like I said, either way, I'll see you on Thursday with either a video drop or hopefully a live stream. If not, next Tuesday. So.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this time.
Fitzwater photo.